Hey guys, Happy New Year, and I hope everyone's doing well today. I wanted to take this time to make a video because someone had reached out to me and concerning the Eotech and asked me if I could do a video talking about why I chose Eotech and Eotech versus other sighting systems. Now, I want to start off by saying this. There is a whole lot to unpack here. I'm not going to be able to get into the weeds on everything. I'm just going to kind of give you some general things, whether you've been around guns all your life or you're new to guns, that may help you out a little bit when looking at these sighting systems. I like several different brands, companies of sighting systems, and we'll go ahead and talk about that because one of my favorites is this Sig Romeo 5 right here. And you can a lot of times find sales at places where you can get those for around $100 to $125 for this. I've got 3 of those. I believe I've had 4 or 5 at one time, but I've got 3 right now, and I never turn them off. They've never failed me. They're shake awake. They can last from 3 to 5 years on one single battery. 3 if it was like on all the time, 5 years if it's off until you pick up the rifle. Whenever you touch this rifle, the red dot will be on by the time you look in the window. Even like walking through a room on a wood floor will, if this is leaning on the floor, will trigger this. It's just a red dot, plain red dot optic that you can get for cheap, and I've trained with them, I've used them, and I've not had an issue. So some of the negatives and positives for the Eotech are, and I'm going to start out with a couple of the negatives first. First and foremost, what guys are going to tell you is a negative about the Eotech is that the battery life is not real long. I believe it's 600 to 1,000 hours on one CR123 battery like that's in here now. And there is a reason for that. This is a holographic sight. So basically an image is being projected from underneath and coming up into the window. Now, one of the positives to an Eotech that I like is that when you look through at the reticle, you can keep both eyes open, and it looks like that a holographic reticle is superimposed downrange on the target. It's only illuminated in here, but it has an appearance when you're shooting that it's downrange illuminated on the target. My biggest positive for liking an Eotech holographic sight is this. All these other optics, and if you get down to really cheap optics, when you look through them, they change what the, let's say the natural lighting is outside. The really cheap optics, and I've even seen some higher end optics that turn, when you look through here, other than the dot, everything has a bluish tint. That really bugs me a lot. I can get over it. I use these a lot, these SIGs. Romeo 5s, but it's tinted. And the reason is because they have to coat the lenses on these because it's reflecting the diode for the red dot sight. See how that's coated like a reddish color? That in turn changes a little bit when you look through there what the ambient light actually is outside and whatever you're looking at. You can still see perfectly fine. You can still see threats if you're using it for home defense, or if you're hunting, you can see the animal. It doesn't change any of that, but it just tints everything that you're looking at. When you look through an Eotech, it is crystal clear, non-tinted glass that you're looking at. There is no change in color or anything. It all looks exactly the same. It would be like looking through a pair of glasses when you look through this, because like I said, it's not a laser diode that's coming up and reflecting back at you. This is a holographic sight that's being projected from underneath. Okay, it's just made to work differently, and that's why the battery life is not as long, 600 to 1,000 hours on these. That's why the battery life is like that. Now, my biggest negative for an Eotech is no features like shake awake. Like, in other words, I put this on the rifle, and what shake awake is means that I put this rifle by the bed or wherever my home defense rifle is, and only when I pick it up does this activate and turn on. Okay, with this, you actually have to pick up the rifle and you have to turn it on. You know, now my other Eotech optic, the flat dark earth one that I bought used, has the buttons on the side in the night vision mode, and you can put a magnifier behind it. And we'll talk about magnifiers in a second and why there's a positive to this over other sights. But basically, that's my biggest negative to these, is no shake awake or being able to leave it on. That never turns off. I never turn that off. I just put it in the safe like it is, and I change the battery about every year and a half. Under 2 years, I change the battery. The battery will easily last 3 years. So you definitely don't get that, but you do get the crystal clear window, and it's a big viewing window when you look through. The camera kind of makes it look different than what it looks like in person, but it is a big viewing window. Now, when you want to use a magnifier with a holographic image, the reticle in here does not change when magnified. Now, with other optics, the reticle can change when you magnify it. It can change. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get the camera to focus on the reticle in here, but believe me when I tell you it's there and it's working right. So when you put a magnifier behind this, which I want to do with this, it does not change the size of the reticle downrange. It stays the same. But on a red dot, it can also make the red dot appear bigger when you put a magnifier behind it. Now, I know guys that have aim points and they put magnifiers behind it. It doesn't hinder them. It doesn't bother them, anything like that. And that's all good and fine, but I'm just telling you that with a holographic sight, the reticle never changes its size. It's still the same size on the target downrange, even when magnified. So there's some of the positives and negatives. You know, if you were to ask me what you should get, I would basically tell you, go by what your budget is and what you think is the best for you. Now, for me, there's also another benefit to an Eotech, and let me explain that right now. So, when you have a home defense gun and your sight is like this, you have height over bore. Meaning anything close to you, whatever you aim with this is going to hit low. Okay? So an Eotech reticle is a circle with a dot in the middle, and there's little hash marks, one here, one on each side, and one here. Now, with the Eotech reticle, anything that's close to me, within 50 feet or so, I just raise the reticle to the hash mark under the dot, and that's exactly where my round goes. So I have an aiming point from 50 feet in, and then my dot is for everything that gets out there further. So that is a benefit to me with that reticle that's in an Eotech, whereas if something like this, where it's just a 2 MOA dot, you're just going to have to aim higher with it. If they're like 50 feet and in, you're going to have to aim higher due to the distance of the sight height over bore, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were walk up to a wall in your house, and you got this red dot on a light switch, and the muzzle's this far from the wall, even though this is aiming at the light switch, your bullet's going to go. Where's it going to go? Right here, where the barrel's at. You're looking at the red dot up here, and your barrel's down here. Now, the way the ballistics are, when you shoot a firearm, the bullet rises after it comes out of the barrel, kind of like an arc, and then it goes back down like an arc. So when you get out to a certain distance, this is set up right for you through a long range. this is set right, but anything that's close to you, you're going to hit a little low. So I do like the Eotech that it does have that, they call it the donut of death, and it's got the hash marks, and I can put it on the bottom hash mark, and it's right where my round is going to go. So that's kind of some of my quick video of what I think of Eotech versus other sites. Like I said, do what is best for you. If you want something you can turn on and keep on, Aimpoint has a site that I think lasts 8 years with it turned on. Something like this where you shake awake, it's going to last you a minimum of 3 years. The Eotech, you're going to have to pick it up, the rifle, and you're going to have to push the button to get it on. So just do your research, watch maybe some more videos of guys showing point of view. Some guys have cameras where they can zoom in on the reticles of these, and they actually fire the gun while you're looking through the reticle. There's several of those you can look at online. Do your research, go by your budget of what you want to spend. And if you want to go, if you don't have a lot of money and you want to go lower budget, 100% cannot recommend anything better than the SIG Romeo 5. Now, I know that HoloSun has a lot of nice sites as well. I just have never used one. But I would say you could trust a HoloSun site as much as you can one of these. I'm just saying, I've just not had a chance to use one yet. Probably the same type of technology and everything that's in there. Who knows, maybe even made by the same company. But that's just my take on it. If you want to go high-end, I would look at Aimpoint and Eotech. I can't think of any off the top of my head. You can put them down below if you know of any others. But I'm thinking of high-tech. I'm thinking Aimpoint and Eotech. And like I said, a lot of guys are just switching everything to HoloSun because their sites, they're doing so well with their sites nowadays that guys are just eating those sites up like crazy. Also put the Surefire Scout on this rifle, and I will show you when I get the remote switch for it what that looks like, because that's going to be pretty cool. Unfortunately, it wouldn't work with this sight up here. It wouldn't get this close to the rail. This is what I was talking about with how close I can get it to the rail with this Picatinny rail mount right there. It just kind of flips over like that, and it's in between the handguard. Now, I shoot left-handed, so my remote switch will be over here on this, coming off the tail cap right here. When I set that up, I'll do another video and let you guys see. Best comp I've ever used. This is the Surefire comp, and I can't remember the name. It escapes me right now. I'll have to put it down in the comments later. This, even though there's not a lot of recoil with a 223, you can fire this rifle fast, and it stays level with the way the gases come out of here. It just stays level, like shooting an airsoft gun. I love this comp. Probably one of the best things I've done to this Daniel Defense rifle right here is that comp. So, all right, guys, hope you're having a good new year. Stay safe, everybody. I'll be back to you real soon. This is DOF, and I'm out.